Anthony, now there's so many Jims on the call that just
Jim
gets
Black.
lost in the confusion.
Yeah, well, just, everybody just avoid the word fuck. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
I usually do that after the recording starts, Anthony.
Well, it actually started before, so.
All right, we'll have to edit that bit out in post. Team South Branch, welcome to Go Day 2021. Today, we come together as a united team. We are driving towards maximum impact in 2021. On January 13th, 2010, a small group of military veterans, first responders, and emergency medical personnel led by Marine Corps veterans Jake Wood and Will McNulty decided to respond to the humanitarian crisis caused by an earthquake in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. This was the birth of Team Rubicon, a day we call Go Day. Every year, we celebrate by remembering the examples set by our founders and encouraging one and all to take action for others. As we enter a new year and the challenges ahead, it's important we remain true to our roots and keep alive the values demonstrated by those first gray shirts. So now, some motivation.
"2020 it started."
So close.
That was a really great wind up to have these technical difficulties. Let's try this again.
2020 it started off busy, responding to winter flooding and tornadoes. At the same time, we're training up our gray shirts and getting prepared for what we expected to be a really busy spring storm season. All these best laid plans, they changed in March.
I even played this whole thing so this wouldn't happen.
This sure doesn't look like the Hollywood shit, does it?
2020 it started off busy, responding to winter flooding and tornadoes. At the same time, we're training up our gray shirts and getting prepared for what we expected to be a really busy spring storm season. All these best laid plans, they changed in March.
The World Health Organization today declared the coronavirus a global pandemic.
For families who already struggle to put food on the table, social distancing and quarantines can only add to the problem of food insecurity.
We are looking for ways to plug into this effort. We have 110,000 volunteers. I'm trying to think of how can we step outside of our norms to help other organizations who are seeing the strain.
If we do this properly, if we take a strategy, and if we make the commitments to help people that really need the help in a completely new context, Team Rubicon will not only survive COVID, we should thrive in it.
Team Rubicon's built a platform, and shame on us if we don't maximize its value. I certainly know Team Rubicon's gray shirts will rise to the occasion. They'll step into the arena. They'll walk forward to serve those communities. We just have to make sure that this is an all-of-America effort to help these communities respond and recover.
Giving someone something that they could never have the ability to repay you for. Doing something for them that they cannot do. The thank yous, the heartfelt gratitude that you get, it's just really special. I call it soul food. Like, it feeds my soul.
I think it means a lot to the gray shirts to be out here. Very excited to help other people. And Team Rubicon has always offered a vehicle for both veterans and civilians to offer services to their fellow man.
All the things that somebody would need for a week's worth of food,
We're taping the boxes up, putting the food in the boxes, and sending it down the line. Team Rubicon members, they know exactly what they need to do. They know what their purpose is. They get in, they work hard, and they go home. It's fantastic.
The medical strike team here has made a big difference because we've been able to bring additional resources to the hospital staff, which enables them in turn to maintain their daily battle flow and their rhythm. I think that's something important that needs to be understood.
It was very important because y'all didn't have to do it. You really didn't. The crew, they was there with me. And they understood where I was coming from, and they stayed right here. And I thank God for y'all, each and every one of you. I really do. Because without y'all, I still wouldn't have anything.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Just being there like you fellas are. You were here the day after the storm to help my family and I move some of these trees out of the way. We kept waiting all day, all day, all day. Somebody's gonna come by. Where's all the people? Where's all the help? Nobody but you guys.
I mean, who would know that there would be somebody who would come out here and help somebody like y'all have that you've never met before? I mean, it's so wonderful, and we want to thank y'all so much.
Every team who stepped foot on this little piece of property has done nothing but be kind, safe, professional, courteous, extremely hardworking, gave every ounce that they had, and did the work with joy. Thank you so very, very much.
We're all fighting for your beats. And that means that we have the ability to work together in unison and to fight. It's very important that we all work together to do so.
Team South Branch. Last year was record-setting for the amount of impact driven by the team on this call. Storm after storm, mission after mission. You showed up, you did the work, and you helped people in need. The challenges this year are immense, but you are the team that are going to be ready to take it on. Today, we resolve ourselves to complete the task ahead, to find need across communities, and deliver impact to them. I'd like to introduce to you Jeff Byard, who is the Vice President of the Domestic Operations Department and our new boss. Jeff?
Well, let me start out by saying roll tide. So I know that'll make half the branch happy and the other half very pissed off, but we can live with that this year. Yeah, let the comments come in. Look, let me, before I get into a very small discussion I want to have with this group, first and foremost, I want to thank you. You know, the video that we just saw is still, you know, very moving, but it's you that deliver the services to the other people. A couple other things to point out I really like about Go Day, the take action piece. So what I'm going to talk about today is a little bit of the vision that I want us all to have. You know, I don't like saying it's my vision. I want it to become our vision. I believe it can be realized. I'm not putting a timestamp on it. So all the you know, ICS gurus, it's probably not a smart objective to that extent, but we'll put a time on it. As Jim alluded to, Jeff Byard, I'm the Vice President of Domestic Operations, which is a new title, if you will, but not a new position necessarily. I joined Team Rubicon in February of almost a year, February of last year, as the Vice President of Government Relations, which was and still is a new function with the team. The goal is to establish and was to establish, still is, a office here in DC. I live in DC, work, and we'll work out of the DC office. Prior to that, many years in the government side of emergency management, primarily at the state level with the state of Alabama. And then I did some years here in DC and after Katrina with FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. I am a veteran, United States Marine, so I like pictures. I don't read very large novels, but I like to get shit done too. So a little bit about my background. That's it. You know, I love emergency management. Couple of factors that got me to leave federal service and join Team Rubicon. First and foremost was the ability to continue to help people and build processes to help people. The way I view my role is to every day charge myself and charge the team, the operations team, to identify ways that we can more effectively, more efficiently utilize the power that you have as our volunteers. To identify ways that not to constrain our ability to help others, but to enhance our ability to help others. So some of the vision that I want us to think about, first and foremost, I believe in relationships and emergency management and what we do. Relationships matter. They open doors. They give us opportunities to do more than we may could have done without that relationship. I want to see us grow to where we have a gray shirt leader in every county and parish in the country. A leader that has the ability, she knows the team that's in that area. She communicates with the team that's in that area. She's built relationships with the emergency management and VOAC community in that area. So when something happens in that area, you have the approval to act. You have the ability to move out and start helping where you can help, while big Team Rubicon, I mean, you know, your fellow gray shirts that may not be in that area are doing the assessments and driving additional resources into the need. That is a shift. That is a shift of the way we do our doctrine today. But I have great confidence that we can get to that. Both Jim, Drew, Hannah, the full-time staff in the South Branch has heard that. They are disciples, if you will, of the belief. And localization is not a new fancy tool. That's always been there. One of the best documents that I've reviewed is the Resilient Cities document that was drafted over some time. But I do believe we don't have an operational component to that document. We don't have a mechanism to say, okay, we built all this, now this happens. What do we need to do to get out the door quickly? So a lot of the strategic focus will be on that localization, understanding local needs, and local needs will drive local operations. So that's an overall vision that I have of the department. I want us to be connected throughout. I want us to understand that, we're not individuals. We've got a whole team supporting us. So we got to communicate, share resources, share what we do so we can build the others. I have a more formal vision statement. I can definitely share that. But again, I think it's important for this group to know that where I want my team focused, our team focused, is how do we refine our processes to increase our speed to need. And what I mean by that, increase our gray shirts to need safely, and do that as local as possible with the resources we have. So why did we align? Why did we realign the team? It meets the strategic goal that we have in 2021, which is end-to-end planning, end-to-end mission planning and execution. To do that, you have to have, in my opinion and others, you have to have your operational components under one umbrella, if you will. So creating 4 operational branches was the route that we went on. Christine, I can see you on camera, and that just scared the bejesus out of me when I saw what looked like a snake coming at your nose. So if I got distracted, I apologize. It is, again, putting all like components under one operational umbrella to support those that are doing the mission. There's some, obviously benefits to doing this. We will establish, Jim and Drew has already done it, establish virtual branch operations centers, very similar to what Mike Watkins and Jim Connors has in the North Branch to support operations, and continue to do that. So some of the changes that you'll notice and you will see from the full-time shouldn't impact, what you do on an operation or for the team, but we have streamlined some of the job descriptions to make those like across the country. We're focused on the what used to be the geographic associates or operations associates, and they're going to be tasked with a lot more of relationship building at the local and state level, but also helping to initiate, plan, and execute missions in disasters. So they will be getting more into the actual disaster operations as we move forward. So a lot of that localization is being shifted or repositioned at that level, with the echelons of teams, above them, if you will, in a support role for those functions. Excuse me. 3 expectations that I've given to the branches. First, disaster management. Identify areas that we can push preparedness, identify areas where we have opportunities to do mitigation, initiate response operations, and initiate and continue recovery operations. That's one expectation that I put out to the branches. The second is gray shirt engagement. Make sure that we are training, recruiting, and taking care of those that deliver our mission. And then the third is the relationship management piece, where we will have a very big push, probably starting in second quarter, going into third quarter, of really driving into where we have existing relationships and where we need to grow additional relationships. There'll be some training that's involved in that. Some of that's internal. I get asked that a lot. What's the training plan? Basically, how would you approach a disaster survivor is really how you would approach an emergency manager. Courteous, professional, here to solve a problem, not to tell you how to do X, Y, Z, and then offer the capabilities and the services that we have. Having been on that side, I wish, like anything, and especially in my years at Alabama Emergency Management, I knew Team Rubicon and knew, the capabilities, because you would not only be in our emergency operations center, you would have been in my office. So, what we do is a unique service and a unique skill. So moving on, just going to talk a little bit of priorities for the first 2 quarters. First is obviously support our nation's vaccination effort. We've got to do internal, which doesn't necessarily impact this group, but solidify our department governance, how we're going to communicate, share information, the different teams channels, and SharePoints and every other tech tool that we have. We're going to drive towards a draft severe weather response plan. And what I mean by the vaccination plan and response plan, what we're driving towards on that is we'll take severe weather. And there's going to be we got to work out a lot of details. So please don't, hit me with all the Jeopardy questions at once. But, let's do the pre-work to say, hey, if a tornado hits one of the, a community, the operation is approved, right? We respond to tornadoes. That's a given. There's some things that we have to, identify locally, make sure we're in the right place, safety and those necessary things. We're working out where that gets identified. But, if there's a local contingent of gray shirts, a tornado goes through and there's a relationship built, and that relationship says, hey, with what you can bring to bear, I need help doing X, Y, Z. Let's have a conversation about that as much as we can, pre-storm. But that's where we want to drive to, where that's a fairly easy lift from a paperwork, documentation, communication piece, where we have gray shirts, on the ground doing good work. Internal training on relationship management, we talked about that. And then last priority will be prepping, getting into a hurricane readiness posture as we move into hurricane season, which really, when we talk about localization, we also talk about specialization with some of the design of 3 branches. If you think about it, this is our hurricane branch, tip of the spear. I know that, New York likes to claim Hurricane Sandy, and it was a big hurricane, but it wasn't a real hurricane. Real hurricanes hit this branch, and you know that all too well. So that's, I kind of went off script there a little bit. I saw some people laughing, so I'm scared to open the chats. The good thing is I've got 2 more branches that I'm doing the same thing with. At least this group understands me. The other groups just nod because they don't, and I don't understand them. So it's a good give and take. But Jim, that's my spiel. I'll be, I'll try to answer any questions, but I don't want to take over the meeting whatsoever. So happy to take a few questions. And if there's follow-on questions, I'll definitely get back with you the best I can, which I will get back with you, but it may take me some time to do the research on the question if it's really a Jeopardy one.
Anybody wants to raise their hands, I'll take the questions. I think they're afraid of you, Jeff.
I can promise you they're not afraid of me. Well, hey, look, hit me up if you have any questions at any time. I'm always accessible. I believe in the mission. I believe in the team, and I just cannot thank you enough. I did see a hand, so Jim, I can't see it, but if you'll see who it is.
Who always has something. Go for it, Lou.
Okay, you're coming in garbled and unclear there, Jim. Okay, Jeff, I have a question. I am pretty well experienced in local emergency management. I was the chair of a long-term recovery group. I was a senior Red Cross external relations manager. How are we gonna train a gray shirt who is new to the emergency management world about that communication stuff? Or, and a more dangerous question, I think, is are you going to rely strictly on full-time employees to do that at the state level? And I'm in South Carolina, so we get hit quite a bit.
Yeah, and I've worked, you're familiar then probably with the term EMAC, but I've worked several storms, Joaquin, which was a big flooding event in South Carolina, know South Carolina well. Always want the hurricane to wipe out Parris Island, but it never seems to do that. But so to your question, Lou, I think it's a mix. I want the full-time, I want the operations associates to have that definite connection. They don't have to be the sole connection, but to have that connection starting at the state level, it's just an easier bite of the elephant, if you will. But I think that the goal is to have gray shirt leaders, as the point of contacts, definitely locally to start with, and then pull that group in at the state level. I'm firmly committed, Lou, that, we're a volunteer-led organization. I just want to, again, go back to refine the tools and tactics. If we have those relationships, our op tempo will increase, and that increases a lot of other things. So that's the piece on is it going to be one or the other? I think it's a combination of both in certain things, with the build out that it's at some end state, it's volunteer leaders that are primary contacts on that. The training piece is, what I tell people initially, Lou, is you don't have to know all the acronyms. Some clear messages that an EMA that will resonate with an EMA director. We do somewhat debris management. We help people with temporary home repairs to get them back in the home. We don't charge, and we don't ask you for much. We don't ask you for fuel. We don't ask you for equipment. We don't ask you for food. We don't ask you for billeting. So we're not burdening that community. Those things alone, the EMA director, he or she will let you in the office just based on those facts for the most part. Now, everybody, you always find the outlier. And then from there, it's more knowing Team Rubicon than knowing that operation. Because again, the ask that we're pushing for is not necessarily an EOC position, LNO, or an EOC plan section chief, or an EOC, piece. It's just, hey, we want to build a relationship. We want to be in the know when disasters hit. We have X in the area, and we can do Y. But Lou, those of you, it's you're one, Bob Bledsoe, some others that I've spoken to. we have a lot of internal talent that we will develop some internal training on how to approach, what to ask, what to look for. And again, that's probably going to be focused more on Q2 as we just got bigger fish in the hopper in Q1.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound selfish, but this will come off that way. But I've been stuck in the house more or less all year because of COVID and being over 65, being over 69 practically. And there's a lot of us with some experience in emergency management that I don't think we're not being reached out to. We're not, or the younger people have a better idea, a better way of doing it, but they don't have the experience doing it. And I don't want to sound like, hey, my hand's up, you should be picking on me all the time, because I think there's a thought process out there that some of the seasoned folks are not being harvested to come in and build this new relationship nationwide with emergency management. I mean, there are a lot of things that we, Team Rubicon, want to do right from the start of a hurricane, get out there and bust our asses and do route clearance. But the emergency manager might not want us on Highway 9. She or he may want us on the dirt road that leads to Highway 9. To get grandma out to the highway where she can get to a hospital. And we think we want to do that route unilaterally. Start cutting trees where emergency management hear unilateral stuff. I think the top one is a Team Rubicon over. But thanks, Jeff, for your response.
Yeah, Lou, and you broke up there at the end. My ask would be, and really to you, I know we have talent across the board that can help in this area. I guess my problem or question is I don't know who I don't know. I know who I do know. Like I said, I've had some conversations with Bob Bledsoe. You just identified some others. I would love, and it'll evolve into this, but if you could collect some names that I may want to reach out to, and really if it's it can be in any of the branches, Lou. But if we could, my thought is setting up kind of mentor teams in each branch where others could come to say, hey, how do you approach an emergency manager, or what does this mean? Should we go down this route? Are we only on paved roads with route clearance, which is no. I get your point. Is how do we develop that network till we get a very good base and not just in knowledge but in numbers. So definitely happy to continue that conversation, and I welcome any and all that's been in the space and that can help the team. And I'll be the first to admit I don't know what I don't know, and I admit that. So I'm always open.
I believe Art is on the call. I think he had something he wanted to weigh in with.
All right.
Yeah, and this is mostly because I like, giving Lou shit. It's become kind of a hobby of mine. No, but Lou, I just wanted to weigh on something that's really important here. Number one is, I trust that you understand, and the people here that have, fallen into the high risk category because of age, have been waiting in the wings, and we understand, it's like having a racehorse that will win, and keeping them in the stable. And one of the things we're actively working on, and I say this because I think it's super, super important, is we've had internal conversations. We're pivoting our tech structure to understand that the transition out of the high risk category because of vaccinations is going to happen first for the population you just mentioned, right? If you listen to Dr. Azar yesterday, the suggestion was that we begin to vaccinate and open up for populations that are 65 and over with no caveats. And what will happen and what you'll see from tech is that as you get your vaccination card, and with that requisite period after the second vaccination, or if it's a first vaccination, whatever it is, you actually transition into a category where now we're letting you out of the stable and we're saying this is where we need you to race. I don't know that people necessarily, I think people get it internally, but it's been amazing to listen to, vaccinations, right? Doc Calloway, our CMO, has been really, really articulate in saying and emphasizing every time he talks about this is, vaccines don't save lives, vaccinations do. At our current pace, we won't get to herd immunity for years, literally years. So, we know in North Carolina that we will have a major operation fired up. We know in Navajo Nation today, we're participating in vaccination operations and accelerating the healing of the country. We know that in Henderson, Nevada, and probably by the time this is all done, just like feeding operations, hundreds of communities across the country. Make no mistake about it, Lou. We're gonna let you out of the barn when you get that card. And my hope is that you guys are ready to apply every gift, every skill, every relationship, your ability to communicate, gain trust, and just manage through the chaos, because it's a common, and we will make a difference in the one natural disaster, or the one disaster that I think has impacted, 350 million, or however many, the billions on this planet, 7 billion, and the 350 citizens in this country. It is a daunting challenge, and everyone on this call will be a part of it. So I will thank you in advance, but man, get your pack ready to go, because it's coming.
Thanks, Art. Thanks,
All
Jeff.
I can say, Jim, is that hopefully this little discussion will show you there should not be a quiet moment on a call that Lou Palmer's on.
I think I've learned that by now. I think we're all quite aware of that, at least in the Southeast. We're introducing you to the rest of the South Branch. I had Phil Ailes hand raised, and Sherry, I don't know if Sherry still wants to talk, but Phil, we'll go to you next.
I'm sorry. I forgot to lower my hand earlier. Now I forget what the question was.
No worries. Sherry's hand has gone down also, so I think we're ready to resume if there's no other questions. Before we get back into it, I do want to pass on, Jake did say that he did want to make it, but that his family is sick and in fact has tested positive for COVID. So he has to take care of that. But he did want to pass on, he says, extend a heartfelt happy go day to the crew. So I'll pass that on from our founder. Thank you. And if nothing else, and now we'll go on to Steve Fleming, and we'll resume the regularly scheduled program.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thanks for getting on tonight and taking the time. You're going to see the map here of the new structure of the branches. And with that, the severe weather that we face is unlike the demand of any other branch. And with over 2,000 miles of hurricane-impacted coastline and an annual tradition of sudden tornadoes and intense floods, the opportunities to respond at a near constant level for this team. We're at the tip of the spear for Team Rubicon, and together we're going to drive the impact that this country has never seen.
Hey everyone. We've aligned our staff to better support the operational work we see before us. Some of these operations are already in motion, others just around the corner. The staff team will now introduce themselves and their areas of responsibility by name, title, location, area or function supported, and their favorite meme. I'll actually kick it off with Dennis Crawford. He's unable to make it on tonight, but he is our operations associate for Oklahoma and North Texas. He's located in Dallas, and his favorite meme, I chose this for him. I'm posting it now. Nope, it's not loading. Okay, I will work on his meme while I pass it off to Evan.
All right, hi guys. So I'm Evan Witt. So I am the Ops Associate for Louisiana and Arkansas. I am currently located in New Orleans. And none of my favorite memes are appropriate to drop in the chat. So I happened to find a random one that I love for 2021. So I am dropping it now, and I feel like this like depicts me the last week. So I hope y'all can relate. And yeah, that's it for me.
Hey guys, it's Brittany. Used to be Geo Associate, now Ops Associate for the state of Florida. I will also drop my meme in the chat as well. It's always a good time when you get a good Tiger King meme from 2020, so I'll be dropping mine in the chat.
Hey folks, Jimmy here. I am currently residing in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm the operations associate for Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi. And I heard what Evan said about the inappropriate memes, but I'm just going to go ahead and drop mine in the chat because it needs to be dropped. So it's good to see you guys.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chrissy Buckley. I am the Operations Associate for North Carolina and South Carolina. I currently live in Lake Lure, North Carolina, and my favorite meme, of course, has something to do with Baby Yoda.
All right. Hey, everybody. Kate Stevens is not able to make the call tonight, so I'm filling in as Kate. Probably going to fill in very poorly for her. So Kate is the Ops Associate for Kentucky and Tennessee. She resides in Sparta, Tennessee, and I'm going to throw a picture of her, in case you guys don't know who she is, and her favorite meme into the chat.
I'm Amanda Walmsley. I am one of the operations managers for South Branch. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm also providing coverage and support to volunteer leaders for membership and technology. And I'm giving you my favorite meme now.
Right, so I guess back to me again. I'm Jim Lehman. I'm the ops manager covering down for the area previously known as the Southeast. So I'm going to be working with Brittany, Jimmy, Chrissy, and Kate. I'm also going to be working with the wellness teams across the branch and the finance teams across the branch. I currently live in Greenwood, South Carolina. And I didn't actually pull a physical meme to share, but if you look up anything Ron Swanson related or Parks and Rec related, or maybe even The Office, you'll probably find one of my favorite memes in one of those.
I think that kicks it over to me. Hey guys, so my name is Drew Hanna. I'm the Deputy Director of Operations for the South Branch. So I support all of the wonderful folks who were just talking to you. Super pumped to work with this team, and I'm really excited to see the impact we drive across the next year. I live in Plano with my wife and the most adorable baby you've ever seen. And my favorite meme is the angry lady from Wives of Orange County yelling at the cat. So I'm putting that in the chat for you guys because it's pretty great. And then I'm also going to cover down in the introduction of one of our team members who's currently on military leave. A lot of you guys haven't had a chance to meet Brittany Olson because she left us a little bit earlier this year to deploy to Kuwait with her Guard unit. We're expecting her back third quarter next year. So we will assign her functional role when she returns to us. But if you've met Brittany, she is an unstoppable force. So her meme is going to be the honey badger, and I will drop that in the chat.
Guess that runs it over to me. Hey everybody, I'm Jeremy. I am the logistics associate for the South Branch. I currently live in Swanee, Georgia, northeast of Atlanta. And Drew kind of stole my meme, but any meme that has to do with the yelling lady and the cat, it doesn't matter what it says, what it means. That's my favorite meme.
Hey guys, Steve Fleming. I'm the ops support for planning. I live outside of Houston, and Google anything dad joke related, and it's probably me. No, I do not own New Balances.
So the next person who's missing is Tracy Rankin. Any of you that have worked with the IMT or with our command and general staff know Tracy as one of the managers from the IMT. She is also stepping in and working with us as field leadership. So we're really happy to have Tracy. I've known her for quite a while. I don't know. I have not. We did not ask her what her meme would be, but we'll have to ask that. We'll drop it in the chat later. And I believe that leaves it down to me, Jim Flory. For those of you who don't know me, I am the now the branch director for the South Branch. I have the pleasure of working with this entire team. Even Jeremy, love to do that. My meme, I couldn't drop it in the chat, but I'll read it to you because it pretty much says what I am. Mine says, "You call them curse words, I call them sentence enhancers." So that describes me. Yeah, and we will kick it off to Evan.
All right, so we've talked about the branch restructure. So how will this work? So let's move into the future together. It is June of 2021. A storm appears. A funnel cloud forms. The tornado touches down, and in an instant, lives are forever changed. Homes destroyed, cars thrown like matchboxes, and the destruction is immense. A storm has come and gone.
So the storm's come and gone, and already gray shirts are moving to respond. The Metro team is assembled, relying on established training and local relationships. They assemble, some gather equipment from the cache, others heading to the EOC to check in with local partners. Based on intel from the EOC, the team moves from the gear cache to begin clearing access points for first responders. A small group is already boots on the ground, already getting shit done. While in the background, the rest of the team works diligently to formalize a plan.
The gray shirts working have encountered massive destruction. A large response is required. Trained Sawyer teams and roof tarping teams continue to triage and work local hotspots, while notification goes out to gray shirts across the country.
An advanced party finds billeting to sustain hundreds of gray shirts with space for the equipment, trailers, and command structure to sustain them. An incident management team, or IMT, assumes control of the local teams, blending the reports and accomplished work into a rapidly evolving situation map.
The team encounters hardships. Their work is not perfect, but it is executed to the best of their ability with their core understanding of the organization's maxims: get shit done.
The work will take months to complete. As saw work and roof tarping projects begin to dry up, the teams will start to transition into longer-term recovery efforts. Rebuild teams will begin to assemble, replacing drywall and shingles. Team Rubicon evolves into a one-stop shop for rapid service delivery, working from restoring access to clearing rubble to restoring homes.
So what does this mean? What are our next steps? And really, I'm going to go off script a little bit just because you could read the slide. We're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing next, what you can expect from us, and then what we need from you guys. But really, we need participation, right? We are a little bit, maybe around a month, maybe a little bit less than a month into this. We've spent a lot of time going through how we were going to work, rewriting job descriptions for the staff, all those things. And we've got more work to do. We got more reorganizing to do. We have to combine 2 territories into one branch. We have to learn to work together, which is a lot of what we've done. over the last few weeks. Luckily, I've said this and I truly mean it. I feel lucky that it's the South Central and the Southeast that are coming together. Drew and I think we have a lot of similar tendencies and techniques in leading and managing. So it's not going to be a big shock for our staff. But we're going to learn. We have to learn to work together, and then we have to build out those behind the scenes things like EMS to be able to just combine the two territories. And it's surprisingly a lot of work. TR, we've talked about this many times, is very tech savvy, tech heavy. And so when we do things like this, that means there's a lot of things that have to go on behind the scenes to combine the two territories. But really, one of the biggest things, and you heard it from Jeff, and if it was a lot to take in, but I'll say this is that we're looking at a lot of the old processes and paradigms and saying we need to refresh them, and some of them we just need to throw out. He's very clearly given us the message that that our operations need to be locally driven, and as much and as soon as we can, and it's going to take time to get there, locally driven and locally led. And that's our job, right? That's our job, is to build the training, the processes, the procedures, the framework, if you will, so that you guys as leaders can go out and do what we're asking you to do. And that's a lot. And there's a lot of work left to be done. We've made some great progress in the last year, but in a lot of ways, 2020 really derailed a lot of things. And in other ways, it really enhanced because it forced us to really look at how do we run 30, 40 operations at the same time. Yeah, small, but nonetheless, how do we run 30 or 40 operations at the same time? It's one of the downsides of war, but the silver lining, if you will, is that a lot of policies, procedures, framework, technologies all get stressed in time of war. And you can look back at 2020, and what's going on right now is TR's time of war. We've been stressed. We've been forced to reconcile a lot of our processes and the way we do things, which is what brought about this type of change. So what do we need from you guys? Or what could the next thing is, what can you expect from us? We're going to need help, right? We're going to start reaching out to you guys. We've talked with you guys separately about what we need. We'll be talking to the state administrators, the functional leads, and then on down through, cascading down through the functional roles and into the metros. We need help doing this stuff. Some of you have expertise that we don't, whether it's in communications, technology, you name it, all the functional groups. You guys have been out there on the front lines doing it, and we're going to come to you for help. So here's what we're going to ask you guys. It really is keep doing what you're doing, building your teams, recruiting, training, train like the next disaster around the corner, because February of 2020, a lot of us were at Patriot South in Mississippi, and we rolled right into 3 weekends in a row of tornadoes that went across the South and the Southeast. So we're going to need you guys to train like the disasters around the corner, because it is. And that's not even to mention the vaccine distribution that we're getting into now. We need you as leaders to be the mentors. You be either the mentor you wish you had, or you did have, or you want to be. That's what we need from you. Lead by example. And as leaders, also manage your people, right? Look for burnout. Make sure that people are doing what they want to be doing and are fulfilled. Something, the South Central people will know from me, the Southeast people know it, South Central people will learn it, is I don't want you doing something you're not loving doing. If you're in something and you're frustrated, talk to one of us. Let's either lessen your frustration, let's help you go over it, let's find you someplace you want to be, because you're volunteers. You are offering and giving your time to us, And we owe it to you to make sure that you are loving what you're doing and fulfilled. So that's what I ask of you. And as leaders, I ask you to manage your people, lead your people, and help us get into what's coming next. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's exciting in many ways. We'd like to do one more thing before we get into the more casual, funner part of the night. As a tradition for Go Day, a lot of this comes about not only because of the founding of Team Rubicon, but the legacy of Clay Hunt. So I'd like to introduce to you, for those of you who don't know him, Rich Veith, and I'll let him introduce himself. But Rich Veith is a logs person from the Southeast, from the New South Branch, and he is a current Clay Hunt fellow in the current cohort. Rich, please take it away.
Thanks, Jim. Good evening, y'all. As Jim mentioned, my name is Rich Veith. I am the logs lead for the geographic area comprised of Tennessee and Kentucky. I got to come up with a shorter way of explaining that. But I am with Base Camp 5, the current cohort that was just selected to represent and serve as a Clay Hunt fellow. So I'm going to read the Clay Hunt legacy. And if I had one thing to say to my fellow veterans, it would be this: continue to serve, even though we have taken off our uniforms. No matter how great or small your service is, it is desired and needed by the world we live in today. Volunteer to mow your elderly neighbor's lawn for them. Spend a day at a soup kitchen helping feed the homeless, many of whom are veterans themselves. Work on a trail maintenance project. Start a service organization. It doesn't matter what it is, it only matters that you are continuing to put others before yourself, just like you did when you were in the military. Actions like that are the only sure ways to bring about the positive social change that our country and our world needs so badly these days, and that is exactly what we do at Team Rubicon. While most watch the suffering of the world on their TV, we act rapidly and with great purpose, not counting the cost and without hope for reward. We simply refuse to watch our world suffer when we have the skills and the means to alleviate some of that suffering for as many people as we can reach. That is the essence and spirit of Team Rubicon, and that is why I am both humbled and proud to be able to call myself a part of it. Inaction is not an option. And just to on that, I would like to remind my fellow veterans that they are currently accepting applications for Base Camp 6 of the Clay Hunt Fellows Program. Applications are due with your letters of recommendation by January 25th. Thank you, Jim.
I'll turn it back over to Drew.
All right. Hey, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, for coming to hear the message. I hope that everyone is now super resolved and excited about the year ahead. But coming up next, we move into the relaxing, fun, getting to know each other part of it. Our own Evan Witt and Jim Lehman have put together a game show. So everybody get your phones out and let's get ready to Kahoot.
All right, so game show is a strong word, but basically the mentality we're thinking is we're going to basically be joining forces. So we're going to test everyone's knowledge with TR history and disaster history in the South. So give me a second while I try and probably fail to share my screen. But yes, if everyone will go ahead, it's a Kahoot. So if anyone hasn't played Kahoot before, you'll be able to log in to, actually, Layman, while I do this, can you drop the Kahoot .it, and then you guys will type in the passcode that will show up on the screen. So give me just one sec.
Evan, if I'm correct, they can also put this on, download this onto their